Rasslin, that's wrestling. Rasslin, that's
Welcome
wrestling.
back into a Rasslin, Barstool's professional wrestling podcast by me, Brandon Walker, just doing a show by a fan for the fans. I get great access. I don't know why, and you get great access because of that. So, I'm a college football guy. I'm also a pro wrestling guy. I had to take a couple of months off pro wrestling, and the show blew up. Every time there would be an AEW star, WWE star come in the building, we'd interview them, and you guys told me on YouTube you wanted to watch videos with wrestlers. You wanted to watch a wrestling show. So that's what we are now. We are a YouTube show. This is our first show of 2022. What's going to happen is this. Every Tuesday night at 7, the Rasslin podcast debuts right here on YouTube. Like and subscribe. If you're a podcast guy, if you want to hear it in your car, you still have that option. Every Wednesday morning, it will drop on your favorite podcast apps. You'll be fine. But hey, podcast folks, if you do me a favor, you should go, just sign into YouTube. Just go over there. Give me a view. Just give me a click. Just give it to me. It's not that big of a deal. Why are you acting like it's that big of a deal? It's not. It's not that big of a deal, okay? You're not doing anything anyway, all right? You're just fucking going to your kid's soccer practice. And you're not even doing shit. Why don't you just watch the fucking video? I'm not mad. I'm not mad. It is a new day in wrestling, and I thank you for that. And when we announced that we were going to launch today, when we announced we were going to have this big debut, everybody wanted to do it. We got friends all over the wrestling world, and maybe the best friend we have on this wrestling show, he weighed in and he texted me. He's like, "Hey man, can I please come on the show? Can I please do something with you?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. So let's go to him now, and this is him wanting to be on the show. Max.
Fuck off, you white trash hillbilly.
Yay, that was Maxwell Jacob Freeman. Today on the show, we have got, I'm going to talk news. We're going to talk wrestling news. We're going to talk about WWE Day 1, Big E losing the title. Was it the right decision? We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Roman not being at Day 1. AEW All Elite Wrestling on TBS this week. We're also going to have an interview with Cody Rhodes later. Tony Khan, Cody Rhodes. We're starting a new segment called Indy Corner. Indy Corner, which is going to be 15 minutes every week for a young up-and-coming or a grinder, an indie wrestler to come in here and get their character over because they are the future of this business. We'll have my top 5 wrestlers of 2022. We just made the list, the top 5 wrestlers of 2022. The wrestlers who are poised to have the biggest year. And last but not least, we will have your voicemails. And if you heard all that, the news, the Cody Rhodes interview, the Indy Corner, if you heard the list or the voicemails, if you want to go to any of these 6, here's your table of contents. Here are your timestamps. You go right now and you can go to any one you want. There you go. That's how smart I am. That's how good I am. But let's talk about the news. Because Saturday night, WWE started a new tradition, which I'm not sure how it's going to be a tradition because in a couple of years, January 1st is going to be on Monday. What the fuck are they going to do then? Anyway, it doesn't matter. They did Day 1 from Atlanta, Georgia. And listen, I think Nick Khan's vision or Vince McMahon's vision, whoever it was, kind of worked because the crowd was hot. Everything was a go. Everything looked incredible. That being said, the biggest wrestling star in the entire world got COVID. And you're going into a big show, your first big show of the year. You're building momentum towards the Rumble, towards WrestleMania. This is your big time. This is your big season. And the Rumble to Mania is the big season in WWE. It is the best. And this was kicking that off. And Roman Reigns, the Universal Champ, got COVID the day of the show. Couldn't be on it. So they had to rewrite everything. They had to redo everything. And that ultimately led to Saturday night. WWE Champion Big E, who's been the champ since back in the summer, is defending in a 4-way. And once Roman Reigns bowed out, they put Brock Lesnar, the challenger for the Universal title, into the 4-way, became a 5-way. He's now challenging for the WWE Championship. And you know what happened. After about an 8-minute match, which wasn't long enough, Brock Lesnar pinned Big E. I want to be careful because I tweeted this the other day. I want to be careful with my reaction here. My reaction at first was, this is bullshit of the highest order. I hate this. That was my reaction at first. Once I settled down, I realized Brock Lesnar is a special talent. Brock Lesnar is incredible. He is an attraction. Putting the belt on him makes business sense. People will watch. And when you have a pay-per-view event, or I'm sorry, a premium live event, when you have a big event like the Rumble, like Mania, Brock Lesnar in a huge money spot makes a lot of sense. And I am okay with that. I'm fine with that. That being said, as a Big E stan, as somebody who's been invested in the New Day since 2014, as somebody who loved watching him run with the title, who loved watching him go to Iowa and go to these championship fights and introduce everybody, I thought Big E was doing a great job. And WWE, here's my one takeaway. They've got to get better at ending the first reigns for these guys. The first title reign for somebody, the way it ends is important. And if you look over the last 3 years, Kofi Kingston finally breaks through 2019. How does his reign begins in splendor with the Statue of Liberty above him, 80,000 people in New York. His reign begins in the perfect way. It ends in about 8 seconds with Brock Lesnar stomping him, and he never got a rematch, never got close to that level again. Bullshit. Then you've got Bianca Belair, whose reign began at WrestleMania in a great match against Sasha Banks. How does it end? In 20 seconds against Becky at SummerSlam. And then Big E, his first reign in the summer. It was Money in the Bank, and it was built up. They did it on Raw, and he won the title in epic fashion. How does it end? Multi-man match. He didn't even have to take the pinfall, but he did it anyway. And it ended poorly. WWE has to realize the way you lose a title sometimes is as important as the way you win it. Kofi won it in great fashion. So did Bianca. So did Big E. And when they dropped it, it was like just a sack of potatoes just falling off a truck. It just wasn't great. I didn't like it. Roman wasn't at day one. Got the COVID with his issues as far as health goes. I think everybody just hopes he's as careful as possible, takes his time getting back. It just is amazing how far and away he's the number one star in wrestling these days. It's unbelievable. And any show without him on it is hurt for that. Toni Storm quit. Okay, good for her. Toni Storm quit. Like, she was on SmackDown, and then it came out, Sean Ross Sapp, I believe, the guy who does the great wrestling reporting and often takes my interviews and then claims them as his own. Not a big deal. Not a big deal, Sean, you motherfucker. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Reported that she was gone, and a lot of people were like, oh, they fired her, they fired her, they fired her. No, she just quit. So Toni Storm, one of the more recent versions of, kind of a Ruby Soho, where you thought she was going to be great in WWE, and then turned out it didn't ever really happen. Whether that's their fault, her fault, doesn't matter. I'm a viewer. I just care if it pops off on camera, and good luck to her. AEW All Elite Wrestling this week from Newark. We'll be going, right? Maybe? Yeah. Or you're not going? No. Can I get to Newark between 7 and 8? If I leave at 7, can I get there before 8?
I think so. With the train, Uber.
What did you think I was going to use?
Your car. Like driving.
Why would I use my car? I don't drive into the city. I'm not an idiot. I'm going to use a train. Yeah. And I can take the train into Newark. Is the stadium close to the train station? You don't know anything about Newark, New Jersey, do you?
I've lived in Jersey for 5 minutes. I know New York.
5 minutes. You just moved to Jersey? Today. Since this show started, you moved to New Jersey.
Since the show started, I was in Long Island for a while.
I meant All Elite Wrestling on TBS. If you're a wrestling nerd like me, there's something about TBS. I'm sorry, it just is. Now, I know Tony Schiavone and Jim Ross are going to bang you over the head with that. And if you're under the age of 30, it probably doesn't mean a whole lot to you. But, man, growing up as a kid in the South, 6:05 on Saturdays, I would walk to my grandmother's house because we couldn't afford cable. I'd walk to my grandmother's house, get the Superstation out of Atlanta, and Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes and the Midnight Express and Magnum TA and the Rock and Roll Express and Sting and Lex Luger and Nikita Koloff. TBS helped build me as a wrestling fan. Seeing AEW on TBS is wrestling nerd 101 for me. I fucking love it. Huge show. You're going to have Hangman Page against Bryan Danielson. Personally, I think they're going to find a way to schmoz this one too and try to stretch this out to Revolution. I don't see their saga ending here, but we'll see. We'll see. The biggest news item of the week, and we're going to transition to our interviews very shortly. The biggest news item of the week happened, I believe, around Friday. Over the last couple of years, AEW has had a lot of wrestlers come in the door. Not a whole lot of wrestlers go out the door, though. They've taken in a lot more water than they've let out. And that's a good thing for wrestlers. It's a big roster, but it's a great place to call home. Big Swole, however, who competed in the women's division there, had a memorable match with Britt Baker on one of the early shows in a dentist's office, I believe. Anyway, Big Swole was, I don't know if fired is the right word, just not renewed, let go, whatever. And she went on a podcast last week, and you see her tweets up here, I believe. She went on a podcast basically saying there's not enough diversity in AEW and intimating that she was let go due to that lack of diversity and lack of vision from All Elite Wrestling management. Tony Khan, who I think is one of the great minds in wrestling, I think is a great guy, and we're going to talk to him shortly. Tony Khan fell into one of those things where I believe he tweeted out what he wanted to say and not really what he needed to say at that moment. There's things you want to do, things you need to do. And there just are. And I'm not sure Tony needed to tweet that. Tony responded with this tweet saying, there are All Elite Wrestling executives of color, that we've had several wrestlers of color pushed in this and that. Now I could go on and on and on. But Twitter made up its mind. Twitter either hates Tony Khan now or loves Tony Khan, because that's what Twitter is. We never just let somebody say something without having a dramatic and final opinion on it. We never let that happen in 2022. Maybe that's why it sucks here right now. Anyway, Tony is a newsmaker, being what he is at AEW. The boss, the head guy in charge. There's another guy, though, in AEW, very high up the chain, who's made a lot of news recently and seems to get one of the more divisive and passionate reactions that I've seen in wrestling in a very, 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 very long time. People either love this guy or absolutely effing hate him. It's Cody Rhodes. I've never talked to Cody Rhodes. I'm going to talk to Cody Rhodes right now. Ask him about this crazy shit going on, all these fucking reactions. Cody, let's talk. Rasslin right here. We're in New York City right now because, two fancy guys like us, right?
Very fancy.
We hang out in New York City. But you will be in Newark, for the first show ever on TBS. Newark's unfortunate, but okay, whatever. You guys, AEW, this is, of course, the three-time?
Yes, you are correct.
The three-time TNT champion.
Let's pull it out of the pillowcase.
Cody Rhodes, please bring the belt.
Let's pull it out of the pillowcase.
I told you, don't come without the belt. That really is a pillowcase.
It is, and why it's a pillowcase is because the individual that I won it from did not pass the belt bag along. And that's super taboo because it's such a pretty belt.
That is a beautiful belt.
It's a very pretty belt. Yeah, 3 times, and it's in a pillowcase.
TNT champion.
Three times.
Okay, so did Sammy lose the bag?
So that's what I think happened.
Right.
And you don't want to. Finishes are still tricky.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Once somebody's found out, okay, well, you're winning, I'm losing, whatever it might be, or how this is going. The last thing you want to do is come back to him an hour after you've wrestled or the next day and say, hey, I need the bag.
So, just to make chicken salad out of chicken, whatever. You're facing him again at the Battle of the Belts.
Ah, yes, in Charlotte. Yes.
So it's not only a match for the belt; it should be a match for the bag as well. It's the first ever bag match.
That's all you get. It's not. You don't get the belt. You just get the bag.
Although Battle of the Bags doesn't sound as good.
It doesn't have that
Sounds
same
like two
ring.
old women wrestling.
The real traditional thing that you're supposed to do is you're supposed to put the bag in the other person's bag.
The belt in the other person's bag.
No, so
the bag?
The bag belt that
belt
carries
bag.
this, you're supposed to put it in their bag before the match happens.
Really?
I don't know how taboo this is.
I've never known that.
I'm just swinging.
Are you saying things that you're...
We might have to take it all out. Who knows? But that's the rule. You're supposed to put it in their bag. That's the thing. Oh, look, what's in my bag? Now I pack it away. Easy.
So
instead you use a pillowcase.
If I'm losing to you, it is my responsibility to take the bag and put it in your suitcase so that it's there for you when you bring the belt back.
I would say responsibility is a strong word for it. Maybe just a time-honored tradition. Maybe a time-honored tradition.
So
that Sammy, who is 8 years old, I shouldn't expect to know, said time-honored tradition.
So Sammy Guevara is an ass.
I actually think he's a really nice guy.
Yeah. Then why did you beat him for the belt? You had a choice. You didn't have to do that.
I don't have any say. Have you not read the news in terms of I do not book AEW.
I can't.
I am not the head honcho. Actually, the head honcho is coming in.
Tony, yeah.
Coming in later, the Khan, as I like to refer to him. I'm not referring to him as TK. I can, on record, just go ahead and say I regret that and almost everything about the Anthony Ogogo angle. Almost everything about it.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm good now. And
I didn't hate
now.
the angle.
I didn't hate it. I was having a good time.
Yeah.
Anthony is a former Olympian. He's definitely someone who's a developmental talent who's going to. We're training him and we recruited him and we're bringing him up through the ranks.
So what you hate about it?
What ultimately, I've never gone on record saying this, but this is the perfect time. I stood by what I said in the promo. I said I had this promo that
the
is
American stuff,
infamous.
Right.
I stood by it because I thought the content was good and I thought the intentions were good.
Right.
However, a white guy talking about race relations who has an American flag tattoo on his neck.
Yeah. I never noticed that.
Oh, you know? No.
Yeah.
I can see why people would use the terms tone deaf when it came to that. And then trying to defend it and all, and just, again, intentions were good and sincere, and I was so excited about Brandy and the baby, but it just, that should have just been one where I went out and almost just winged it, because everything in wrestling I work really, really, really hard on, like meticulous. You hear about like Randy Savage, how he's about his matches and his promos.
My favorite guy of all time.
So I'm not. There are wrestlers who tend to be more like Randy in terms of their preparation.
Yeah.
And then there are wrestlers who are more like my dad that are he's cutting a promo on the produce at the grocery store, and it's better than most stuff you'll hear on television. But I tend to be more of the big time thinker, planner, workshopper, all that stuff. And I had worked on that one really hard. That's what made it even more like, damn, every now and then you're going to come up to the plate and strike out.
So you overplanned it on paper.
Overplanned it and just struck out.
Okay.
Although I stand by it. I don't think anything with the content. But once that had happened, it set the angle in a way that Anthony, who's, as far as wrestling age is concerned, is like 18. He's a baby. He doesn't know what's going on. It set the angle in like a tailspin, where it just wasn't a classic UK versus USA, fun-spirited deal. I was going to go over to the UK. We have the return match. Now I just never want to think about it again.
But you have the ability to look in hindsight and say, that wasn't what I wanted. That wasn't great.
Sure.
Have you done that with anything else, or you feel like, or is that like sharpened you going forward a little bit?
I think it's just been a really crazy journey. If you think about 3 years and 2 years on TNT, Mandy, who's sitting back there, she's been with us the whole time. It's a lot to ask these 4 wrestlers who are, you mentioned your producers being idiots. Well, 4 wrestlers, I'm not saying Matt, Nick, and Kenny are idiots, but I'm kind of an idiot. And all of a sudden, hey, you're an executive vice president, and you get this done and get that done. And I just started to realize, I think, what ultimately I'm good at when it comes to this, and how I can sharpen my skills. But it's really been a journey. It's definitely aged me. It's aged me a little bit.
Well, you look great.
Well, thank you. Now I feel good.
I was going to ask you, can I have the number of your suit guy? I would like to.
Of course.
I'd like to upgrade my suit game.
Your game?
Yeah, I don't. Would like to get a suit.
What's this? Okay, so we'll start.
We're starting it in the first inning. Yeah, correct.
What size jacket are you?
48 long.
48 long.
Yeah. What are you about, a 44?
Nailed it.
Yeah.
That's a power number, by the way.
48 long. It sounds incredible.
Yeah.
And then you see it. It looks like a bag of milk. Like it doesn't translate well.
Speaking of bag of milk, I'm going to set this back on the pillowcase.
Yeah, please.
Speaking of bag of milk, you know when you go over to other countries?
No.
Okay. Well, the Americans always have this idea that, like, okay, I'll give you an example, that like France doesn't use deodorant. And that's a common, you'll hear that, just a stereotype or general.
We have ideas of how they do things in other countries. Yeah.
So I asked one time, I said, what are Americans like in terms of how are we considered by the Japanese? This is when we were in Japan. And they said that we smell like milk. This person I talked to. And I thought, absolutely. We have so much dairy in our diet. I bet we do come over there and just a bunch of bags of milk. But I thought that was really good. I was like, it's not, we have our outlooks. Here I am on this bullet train in Japan just smelling like a bag of milk.
They kind of nailed it.
They nailed it,
They kind of nailed it. I absolutely smell like a bag.
Did you smell yourself?
Well, sometimes it's sour milk. Sometimes it's good milk.
Yeah.
But I normally smell like a bag of milk.
Milk nonetheless.
And look like one. So where are we at? How do you balance? Okay, this is a better question. Question. I'm going down to 11. I'm skipping 6 through 10.
6 through 10 sounded like they were hot, though.
We're going to get to 6 through 10,
Okay.
but I like 11 better right now.
I'm ready for 11.
There was an angle between Darby Allin and MJF where in the angle they worked in the 4 pillars of AEW.
God, I hate the 4 pillars.
The 4
not the actual people.
Right. The
concept that he just went and decided to say we're the 4 pillars.
Okay. All right.
without really confirming. And
So
then,
that wasn't an idea that was saying, hey, go out and say 4 pillars and these 4 guys?
I don't think the Khan came up with that idea.
We're going to get that the
I
con
think
thing
Max
over.
did.
You think Max? Okay, all right. Well, that just nullifies the rest of the question. I was going to say
6 through 10 screwed now?
no. It screws number 11 because I was thinking.
Tell me about the pillars.
If that was an AEW edict, let's brand these guys as the 4 pillars.
Yeah.
Isn't that a huge challenge to the rest of the locker room who's not one of those 4 guys?
Yeah, well, one of the guy who said the 4 pillars thing
Is a piece of shit.
Well, he was the most unknown one coming on board, and literally was stuck to my side like a little baby because I knew him from the Northeast independent scene, mainly NEW for Mike Lombardi, where he's getting paid like $15 a match.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, he's treating it like he came in and was told, "Hey, you 4 are gonna." No, when we all came in, it was really an artist haven in terms of what you go out there and put on. That'll determine it. That there wasn't. It wasn't that we thought we had recruited really, really well, and I think we absolutely did. But you've got to sink or swim. It's live TV. That's the thing. You'll find a lot of independent wrestlers. They're great independent wrestlers. They're great at forming these really complex promos that they put in video packages and stuff like that. Put them on live TV.
Yeah.
That's if they do well
When
there.
the lights get brighter.
If they do well there, then you've got a winner. And Max did in his defense.
And you've had a lot of young guys that you put them out there in that situation and they've flourished.
Yeah, that's a good, as far as recruitment goes, that's got to make you feel the best thing in the world. Like, we picked this person. They're handling live TV so well, Max being one. Who are the 4 pillars that Max had?
It was
him,
Jungle Boy,
Jungle Boy,
Sammy, MJF, and, the other guy. Darby.
And now the shirt has Britt on it, too.
Yeah, well, that was CM Punk. CM Punk said, you've been replaced as a 4 pillar by Britt Baker.
Well,
and he was
I think he's right because she was the first woman signed.
right. Oh, she's great, too. She's awesome.
So I would say that's probably more accurate, but then Sammy was a pillar, so it's more like 5
Right.
pillars.
Well, it's more like 5 pillars, but hell.
I don't think Sammy was considered a pillar when he showed up. I think Sammy's kind of his learning, how he learned to be not just Sammy, but be someone in the inner circle.
Yeah.
How can you be with Chris? How can you be with his crew? And now how, as TNT champion, his run. I think that ultimately...
Well, the Sammy that you wrestled on the first match in Dynamite and the
saying.
Sammy you wrestled this Saturday are 2 totally different people.
He's a little more jacked, by the way, if we're just talking straight vanity.
We weren't.
He took a picture with his shirt off the other day, a real, what would you call it, a thirst trap?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's not what I call it.
He trapped it up the other day, and chest is huge. Which, we're just sitting here talking about guys' muscles.
We're just hanging out talking about hot dudes.
In a business that is a upper body, vanity-based business, one of the things that you'll hear, JR always used to say it, when they grow into their body. It is kind of fun to see, like, oh man, they really are. Jungle Boy's another example.
Yeah.
Like, as they grow up, because Jungle Boy I felt like a little baby. And now he's like a strong jungle baby. They're just getting bigger. You know
A strong jungle baby.
These guys are growing into their bodies, and I love it. That's all I wanted to say. I'm very proud of all. Max, too.
You got to be careful because you can overgrow into your body. I've seen it. I've done it. I'm fat. I'm working on it.
I don't think you're fat.
Yes, you do.
I walk.
You told me when you walked in, "Hey, fat ass."
I don't recall. Did I say it? No. I don't think you're fat.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No, 48 long too. That's a
48 long sounds really good.
Power number, babe.
That might be a new name of this podcast. 48 long.
48 long.
Sounds like a football play too, kind of.
Yeah,
You go to the cut.
when you tell somebody 48 long,
long.
like if you tell the ladies like what size jacket you wear, does that cause any type of response?
Well, no, I'm married. I don't talk to ladies
How long have you been
anymore.
married?
I've been since 2006, so 15 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Isn't it the best?
No.
Okay, never. I really enjoy being married.
Cool. Well, you're not married to my wife. So, do you want question 12 or 6 through 10?
Who the hell told you it was open mic night? I'm good. I think you got to go back to 6. You really lubed up 6 and didn't go for it.
Working Brandy and Dustin into like the other night.
Yeah.
Dynamite.
Yeah.
So you got Dan Lambert out there going on off the mouth, and he's saying the things he's saying. You got All Ego, Ethan Page. You got Scorpio Sky. They're out there and they're saying some things. And in this particular segment, you didn't come out. Brandy came out and answered, and that was the entire segment. How do you determine? All right, well, Brandy, you go out there.
No, I was just busy.
Well, she was.
I was just busy. Brandy's off doing her own thing, and Dustin's doing his own thing. I was just busy.
You didn't have time to go out there and talk to him?
I did not in that moment have time, and I feel like looking back at the situation, hindsight again.
She handled business.
Brandy handled business.
Yeah.
She's not. Brandy is not afraid. Not afraid. She's an animal person. She's not a P4 like me. So she is
Quad
not
P.
afraid. Quad P.
Quad P. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think that shirt's going to sell, but I'm going to try it anyway.
Man, lately it's hard to sell anything.
Really?
In terms of, that's where like the free agents have that's a go-to. The first shirt when you have a free agent come in sells like crazy.
Yeah.
The test is the second shirt.
Speaking of
second shirt.
Speaking of not selling, Hook has been really.
Nailed it.
Did you get that one?
Nailed it. Hooky, baby.
All right, so this guy.
Yeah.
This guy. Y'all got something here, right? You got something, but for a year he was with Team Taz, and he was the guy eating potato chips over here. How quickly do you know you got a guy that is the potato chip eater to, oh shit, we got something here?
Well, I think there was this natural anticipation for him.
Yeah.
And then there was even, like, you'll hear people refer to it like the meme wrestler that kind of was becoming the whole Sin Hook.
Right.
And that is not a bad thing, that if people are excited, if they have an interest, the thing that you have to do, not just as Hook himself, but as a company, all right, we have to turn that into, no, he's not a joke. He's not this inside gag. He's actually going to be a wonderful pro wrestler himself. And in the first outings that Hook has had, he's been able to do that. And that's what's so delicate about it. You've just got to, because I'll give you a prime example, and I mean no disrespect to this person. Do you remember Fandango?
Yeah, sure.
Everyone
beat Jericho at Mania.
Everyone in the crowd was going nuts for Fandango.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah.
But somewhere along the line, it fell back into humor.
Right.
And it fell back into an ironic wrestler.
Right.
And not an actual guy. Because you have those guys that you look at it on their card, those guys and girls, where that's a standby, tent pole, can do the main event if needed, here for you if needed. He's just got to stay on that side of the coin and grow into his body.
Well, my question is this. That happened in like 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly when it happened, but it was around that area.
Yeah.
That era. This is 2022. Yeah. Is becoming a meme in 2022, is that equal getting over? Like, we now live in a society where if you become a meme, you like become a star.
I think that's what I'm saying. I think if it's in whatever gets
but
you
if
to the
Fandango
dance,
happened now, I think he'd stay in the right spot.
You might be right. And whatever gets you to the dance is absolutely then you're cruising. And in his case, you've got crowds chanting, "We want Hook." You have people going nuts for what he's doing. It's really cool to see. And as far as another second generation person watching it, all I see though when it happens is I just want to make sure we keep it going.
Yeah.
Everything in wrestling is delicate. It is. And in that case, I just want to keep it going. And
You also have plenty of time, right? Like, nothing but time.
all the time in the world.
Yeah.
I feel like the Khans got him in a good spot, and that they're gonna keep rolling. I actually, because you mentioned the term "over."
Yeah. Was that a bad term?
No, it's not at all. But here's my opinion on it, and a bunch of people in the locker room are probably groaning right now if they watch this podcast when I say this.
They actually do.
This is my opinion of the term "over." I don't think anyone is over until they reach a certain level that type of loyalty and commitment from the fans is untested. I'll give you a prime example. CM Punk, Chris Jericho, over. Everyone else, we're getting over.
Brian Danielson over.
Yeah, Brian Danielson, but absolutely one of the most popular ever. But I feel like everyone else, especially, we've brought a lot of people who've come from other companies, but AEW is still an upstart.
Yeah.
3 years in. So everything to me is the process of getting over. And I hear people at work all the time, and I think sometimes they do it just to embroil me, but they'll be like, "Oh, you're so over. And I'm thinking, gosh, over is The Rock having 13,000 people in Anaheim, and then the next night 18,000 people in Staples Center, and selling 6,000 shirts at each show. That might be lofty, but I think that's where you want to get as a wrestler.
Those guys are all permanently over, whereas somebody who's coming up is just trying to stay over.
That
right?
Perfect way to put it. Yeah.
You're trying to get to a point where you stay there, you stay there, you stay there, you stay there, and Rock and Undertaker and
Taker's a
CM
great
Punk
example.
and all these guys, they don't really have to do anything. They're just
But Taker, the journey.
hay's all in the barn.
The journey of Taker is really unique if you look at how much he did
Right.
through the years to stay keeping your attention, to stay on the tip of your tongue in terms of this every week talking about him. That is the true, real thing that we do. That's the most real part of our industry and our sport and our form of entertainment and all that is how we continue to keep it going.
12's always the best question.
Yeah, you can talk to me as long as you want. Man, are you trying to get me out of here? Or is the con coming?
The con's coming.
We have time.
He'll blow in here.
Yeah.
Like realistically, about 15 minutes.
Oh,
Is that okay?
yeah, we could. And that could turn into 25. Trust me, I got Tony. I'm not worried about him. Don't tell him I said that.
I won't.
Have you ever hidden a body for Arn Anderson?
Well, my favorite part about it, as he held the Glock, which you hold like this apparently, it's in my head, was, and Tony can confirm this,
The con.
he asked me, the con, and Lee Johnson, right at the go position, he said, do you want to know what I'm going to say or do you want to be surprised? And I said, surprise me. And I have never been so surprised. And Lee Johnson, who is a baby growing into his body, is a baby wrestler. That's the stuff you learn from.
Yeah.
I was in the ring the night Arn Anderson talked about, what was it, splattering brains on the concrete, and indicated that he had his Glock
in the
with
car
him all the time. He was there. He got to experience that. And perfect, meme wrestler. That shirt is one of the #1 selling shirts, and he wears it every week. And when he changes into the other shirt, the other gun shirt he has.
My favorite part of that is learning what I just learned. I felt like maybe he improvised that on the spot, but he came, pardon the pun, loaded with that.
Well, listen, it's Arn Anderson.
Yeah.
If Arn Anderson asked me, hey, do you want to be surprised? Of course, you're Arn Anderson. These guys and girls who have done it and made money and actually have gotten over, do it. Do it. Do your magic. I want to play with that.
They know what to do.
Right, and in this case, I thought two things. In the moment, I thought, I'm going to come back and have to explain to the con how I didn't know about it, and I take full responsibility, and now we've been taken off the air at TNT. Or I thought exactly more what would happen is people will love it because it's Arn Anderson. And now I think also there's a whole new fan level. There are people who might not know about the Four Horsemen, and they know about the guy with the Glock.
Now, same deal. You just saw snippets. I gave you a little bit. I gave you a piece. There's a great promo right after WrestleMania 8 when Savage has beaten Ric Flair. And he looks in the camera and he rips his shirt and says, I just gave you a piece. I just gave you a little bit. That's what I just gave you of Cody Rhodes. I just gave you a little bit. The whole thing, the whole YouTube interview. YouTube, Barstool Wrestling, Thursday morning, 8 o'clock. Tony Wednesday, Cody Thursday. And by the way, guys, this ain't no out of the ordinary thing. This is not unusual. Coming up, we got Liv Morgan. We'll have her. We got AEW Women's Champion Britt Baker scheduled to be here. We got John Silver. We got Freddie Prinze Jr. What? Why? The guy from I Know What You Did That last summer?
She's All That.
From Summer Catch. You know what I didn't like about She's All That? Have I told you this before? I should have told Freddie this. She's All That was about him, the hot guy at school, and then taking the little outcast girl, the ugly girl, and turning her into the hot girl at school. But even when, in that movie, even when she's an outcast, she's hot as fuck. Rachel Lee Cook, she's hot as fuck. There's no moment in that video or that movie where you're like, ugh. She's hot as a nerd. Like, there's no way there are people in that school in that town are so stupid that this hot-ass girl walks in with glasses on, and they're like, I don't want to talk to her. She takes her glasses off, everybody just turns around. What are we doing? That's my problem with She's All That. Summer Catch, not a terrible movie, But his catcher, Matthew Lillard, who's also with him in Scooby-Doo, just can't play baseball. Should not be in a baseball movie. Sorry. Freddie Prinze Jr., okay. He's okay. He also tells us a story about going to a wrestling show with Macaulay Culkin. Anyway, he's coming up down the line. Who else is coming up? Malachi Black? I got anybody else that we haven't released yet? No, I think that's it. We got everybody coming. And it's Rumble season. We'll get some WWE guys. We got a lot going on. We just made the list. Is that what's up next? No, that's not what's up next. Yeah, that is what's up next. Because we're going to do the Indy Corner after that. We just made the list. Did you like that? What if I did 2 spins?
Do it. Real fast.
We just made the list. Oh. Okay. All right. You get dizzy easily? I get dizzy easily. My top 5 wrestlers of 2022. Now, these are North American wrestlers. I know, hell, Wrestle Kingdom's going on what? It was last night? It's this week, right? Wrestle Kingdoms. I don't really watch Japanese wrestling. That's just me. I don't really watch it. So I'm not going to lie to you about it. I will watch it when it comes out, and then the great matches hit YouTube. I'll watch that. But I'm not watching. So when I say top 5 wrestlers of 2022, I'm not going to have a Japanese ladies wrestler who's in an organization that I don't really watch. My fandom doesn't go across this. It just doesn't. I can't afford it, is what I'm trying to tell you. Nick, you watch the Japanese? Yeah. Well, we're not a very learned podcast here. Anyway, I'm talking about North American wrestlers. My top 5 wrestlers of 2022. These are a combination of young people, of veterans. It's the 5 names I think are going to dominate North American wrestling the most in 2022. And that doesn't mean they could be stars already. They could be just getting to the stardom level. But here are my 5. Are you ready? Are you? Number 5, Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson, since he got to AEW, I don't know that he's evolved into this since he got to AEW, but he has been able to display it more in AEW than he ever has before. Bryan Danielson is a walking 4.5-star match, and it doesn't matter who gets in there with him. Since he got to AEW, he's been in these destination matches. He's been in these highlight matches where he main events the Arthur Ashe show with Kenny Omega, 30 minutes, time limit draw, and perfect. It's beautiful. Then he does the same thing with Hangman Page. Every match he has had has mattered. Every match he has had has been great. And even if he loses soon to Hangman Page and goes to another program, every match Bryan Danielson has in 2022 will have a chance to be the match of the year. That's how good this guy is right now. That's why I don't even care if he wins the belt. I don't think he's going to win the title from Hangman Page. But if he doesn't, he's still going to be, I think, the best wrestler in the world. And I think Bryan Danielson is using this run to show exactly how good in the ring he is. Number 4, Hook. 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 Send Hook. This fucking guy. See, this is the guy that was eating potato chips. This is the guy that was just hanging around Team Taz for all that time. The guy, he just shows up, looks like a model, and he's just got the hair and everything and the shorts and everything. This guy is going to be something serious. Hook. Hook. Hook! Number 3, and I believe this one wholeheartedly. Bianca Belair is a star. She is an incredible wrestler. And her reign on top was cut short, understandably, because they were bringing back Becky Lynch, the man. They were bringing back Becky Lynch at SummerSlam, and they felt strongly that they could turn her heel and have something great on top of the card. So what they did, Bianca Belair was in the middle of a great reign, and they brought Becky back, beat her in 20 seconds. Bianca Belair's legs were cut out from under her, but you can't stop talent. You can't stop greatness. And in 2022, I think we're headed towards a Mania where she gets her belt back. I think she's probably, maybe she wins the Rumble, maybe she doesn't. But I think she's going to become the champion again. and she's going to be dominant. I think Bianca Belair is an incredible wrestler and is going to get the reign she should have gotten the first time. That's number 3. Number 2, Adam Cole. Baby. Adam Cole. I have thought this from the start. I'm getting closer and closer to the camera. Should I stop? I just realized I just keep rolling like this. To me, the fact that Adam Cole spent 4 fucking years in something called developmental is the dumbest thing WWE's done in the last decade. It was so. This guy is money. He's taking his time right now with the Bucks. He's taking his time doing the Bobby Fish and the things and the Orange Cassidy's, whatever. This guy is money. This guy's going to be the biggest star in wrestling eventually. And 2022 is the year. By the end of this year, he will be AEW champion. That's what I believe. Adam Cole is number 2. And number 1. Can't believe I'm about to do this. Maxing out his reign on top. He's better than you. And I think we all know it. He's been the Universal Champion for a while, and there's no end in stop. Roman Reigns is on the run of a lifetime. Roman Reigns not only was the wrestler of 2020, then 2021, I think he's going to be the wrestler of 2022. This guy is a megastar. This guy is who you put the company on his back. This guy is somebody that when a camera comes in the room, it looks for Roman fucking Reigns. Roman Reigns, number 1 wrestler of 2021 and number 1 wrestler of 2022. Those are my predictions. We'll put this on Twitter, on Instagram. Follow us at Rasslin. Let us know what you think. And trust me, people on Twitter usually let us know what they think. It's usually surrounded by curse words, bad words and stuff. So when we brought wrestling back, I didn't just want to be about WWE and AEW. I didn't just want to be about that, because wrestling in this country, wrestling in this world is not just about what happens on Dynamite and Raw and SmackDown. It's just not. Especially since COVID started opening back up, and I know we're going through some shit right now, but when COVID started opening back up, you could see parts of the country come to life with wrestling. You could see the New Jersey independent scene come back, the Southern independent scene come back. There is a thriving independent scene across this country. I don't just want to focus on the guys who have gotten to the top already. I want to talk to the guys who are about to get to the top. I want to talk to the guys who are about to break through. I want to talk to the guys who have got this industry on their fucking back, that they're making $25 on the weekend, $100 on the weekend, and they fucking love it. It's called Indy Corner. And every week on this show, I'm going to give an indie wrestler out there 15 minutes to sit in this chair beside me and get their character over and show you why they're the next big thing in professional wrestling. And we start that concept, Indy Corner. And by the way, let me stop there. If you have anybody in your area, if you have anybody in your family, in your life, who's an indie wrestler that you think can sit in this chair and get their character over and go toe-to-toe with me, the smartest person in the world, I want you to bring them. I want you to DM at Rasslin on Twitter, at Rasslin on Instagram. Email us at, barstoolwrestling@gmail.com. It's been 6 months, whatever. Indy Corner. It's going to be, my goal is 15 minutes with an up-and-comer every week. That's why we sat here today and did 31 fucking minutes with this guy. His name is VSK. He's been on AEW Dark. He's been on AEW Dark Elevation. He's been on Impact Wrestling. Had a decent program there recently. And now he's on Rasslin to tell you why he's the next big thing. I'm waiting for a clap that doesn't sound like it's coming from a little girl, okay? Well, that was a good one. Did you see that?
I mean, it was about the same.
I thought it hurt more.
Okay, good.
Okay, all right, so this is the Indy Corner on Rasslin. This is where we get the next wave. This is where we talk to everybody who has built the world of professional wrestling, because you see the jackasses up there like Roman Reigns and those pieces of shit, Maxwell, Jacob Freeman and all that, but guess what? There's a whole fucking world out there, and I'm looking for wrestling's next star. I'm looking to build my career on the back of other more talented people than me. Yes?
I'm doing the same thing. So that's great. We have that in common already. We are off to a great start here.
You think you're building your career on my back?
Nope. I think I'm building my career on more talented people's backs. No offense.
I understand. Do you think I'm talented?
We're going to find out.
Okay,
I'm going to
very
use
good.
this as the test.
So my name is Brandon Walker, and this right here is...
I thought it was Braden Walker.
You going to do a knock-knock joke now?
No, I would never.
Are you going to do a knock-knock joke?
Am I here under false pretenses?
Were you told you were coming to interview with Braden Walker?
I was told that you would have the answer to the knock-knock joke. I'm not going to do a knock-knock joke per se, but do you have the answer? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I have the answer. It's written right here.
Perfect. Matt.
Right there.
Okay. I wasn't expecting that to be the answer.
No, you weren't.
But you know what?
You weren't.
It makes sense now. I'm sorry. I don't mean to keep cutting you off.
Well, you do keep cutting me off, though.
But I don't mean to.
It seems like you have a choice, a conscious choice. Should I keep cutting him off and you keep circling yes?
Okay, fine. I mean to keep cutting you off.
On multiple choice test, when you didn't know the answer, would you do B or A or C?
Oh, it's C. It's always
You
C.
do C?
Yeah.
I would always do B. I felt like in the middle I was safest.
But now, are we doing A, B, C, D or A, B, C?
I think A, B, C, D.
Then there's no middle. So we're both correct.
Who is VSK?
Hi, I am VSK.
Yes.
Hi.
Hello.
Good to see you.
You know where the camera is, don't you?
I do. It's right over here. The red light. That's the dead giveaway every time.
I think the lens and the man standing behind it's a big
But
giveaway
sometimes in a room like this, there's multiple cameras, and you got to find that red light.
Well,
and just stare right through it.
too. We don't have a very big budget on this show, so
All right. Just the one. All right.
All the cameras are out shooting pizza reviews. We're kind of useless here.
Are any of those coming back here? I am a little hungry.
For the pizza?
Does any of the pizza make it back here?
It does often, but usually
Not this time.
Have you seen? No, even this time. Have you seen the people here?
I have.
There's a lot of fat people here.
Okay.
A
Fair
lot of,
enough,
including behind the camera. No, it's fine. He's good. He's
great,
a good guy. Who is VSK? And that's a metaphorical question.
Sure.
Yeah.
VSK, he's this guy who's just trying. He's just trying really hard to build a brand, and to do so sometimes, as I mentioned, on the backs of talented people or people who can help me get to the next level so that I don't have to do these silly interviews and like put on the smile and pretend like this is how I want to spend my day. But these people that I have associated with have gotten me to this point, and that is exciting. So I'm excited to be here.
I don't feel like you are. I
Look at the smile. Are you telling me this is fake?
RVD,
Yes.
MJF,
Yes.
the 3H guy.
Yes.
What's with wrestlers loving 3 initials? How come y'all love that so much? Why not just go by 2 initials?
That's a great question. I don't have that answer. However, everyone does assume that there is a relation with HBK and VSK.
Is there?
No. But I would love for there to be. So, Sean, if you're listening, please bring me into your home. Anyway.
Don't talk to Shawn on the camera.
No?
No.
He doesn't watch this?
Have you ever met Shawn Michaels?
I have.
Oh, have you?
Twice at autograph signing.
Were you shocked at how small he is?
He was bigger than me.
Oh, well,
you know?
No, he's not bigger than you.
100%.
I don't think so. I've met him. You're not a small guy.
You're a pretty big guy.
I am.
I appreciate that you didn't put the chair too high because I see that you've learned your lesson from Max. But you are a bigger guy than me.
Do you want me to lower my chair?
No. I don't want to do anything like that because that's whole Max's bit, and I'm not trying to steal his thing. Even though he steals a lot of my stuff, but it's fine.
Are you saying that a lot of his stuff is a bit?
No, I think that he actually. I've been to dinner with Max before, and if anybody is taller than him, he has them bring it down. I meant the general sense of the word bit.
I saw that because
Yeah.
when he was here, there were like some 7th grade girls who were touring here, and he was like he made them
Careful.
lower their chair.
Careful.
Oh yeah, what?
He is mean and has a lot of money.
I don't.
And we have a mutual friend,
Do you?
Smart Mark Sterling.
Me and you, or
Sure. Do you know Smart Mark?
I don't.
I meant MJF and I.
Okay.
We have this mutual friend, Smart Mark Sterling.
Right.
He's a lawyer.
Yeah.
And Max has him on speed dial because if anyone says anything bad about him, he's just like boom, boom, boom. This guy said I was short, blah blah blah. He says I have lifts in my shoes. He doesn't stand for that shit. Can I curse?
Yes. Fuck yeah.
Okay.
Fuck
good,
yeah,
okay.
brother. Is speed dial one of those sayings that we need to get rid of? Because do we even have speed dial anymore? Everything's speed dial. Your contacts are right there. It's an outdated term, is what I'm saying.
I don't mean to show off that I have an iPhone, guys, but I have an iPhone. If you look at the iPhone, there is a nice little thing where it's the favorites.
Oh, yeah.
But favorites is harder to say than speed dial.
Do you have Pizza Hut in your favorites?
No, yeah. Listen, I live very close to one. The breadsticks.
I swear to God, man, I live in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
You ever heard of it? I live in New York City, and my favorite pizza is still Pizza Hut.
Is it really?
I'm so white trash, though.
I can't say the same.
You're not white trash, no.
I can't say the same for a lot of things.
Do you think I'm white trash?
No.
Okay.
No.
So you never answered the question. Why do wrestlers love the three initial?
I can't speak for anybody else.
Okay.
But VSK is initials. Mm-hmm. I can't tell you what the initials are, but I can tell you that the K stands for king.
And the V stands for virgin.
I also have Mark's number.
Okay. All right. Sorry.
Jeez.
Sorry.
But if you have any leads so that we cannot be a virgin, you let me know.
I know some people.
Okay, good.
When you're wrestling.
Yes.
And this is real talk.
The whole thing hasn't. All right, scrap everything else, guys. Real talk. We're starting now.
So you did 16 matches with All Elite Wrestling in 2021.
Yes, I think so.
And for the last 4 or 5 months, you've been wrestling with Impact.
Yes.
But you're not exclusive to anybody. You're still out there doing your thing.
That's it.
What's that decision about?
That's not really a decision on me. I want to wrestle anywhere that I can. Anyone that wants to put me in a ring and give me some money, I'm going to wrestle for you. So if AEW gives me a call, I'm going to go wrestle for them.
If I had a ring right here and I
you
gave
had
you
money.
$500, would
Yes.
you wrestle today?
Yes. Can we make this happen?
Not today, but since this is the first one, it's given me a great idea.
Okay.
We're going to need a ring. We're going to need a ring and also
He's writing it down.
$500.
Yeah.
We're going to need $500. Actually, we're going to need 6.
What's the other 100? Am I getting a raise already?
No, for me.
You're already here.
No, but I need walking around money.
Okay.
You are the modern day who?
Oh, well, I like to say I'm the modern day Rick Rude. And if I may, I'll explain that to you because you did bring up a good point earlier.
Okay.
Rick Rude has passed.
He's dead.
And I don't want anyone to think that I am dead. I am not
You're not the Undertaker.
I'm not an Undertaker type character. What I mean by this is in the same week, in 2021, I was on Impact Wrestling.
Sure.
And then I was on AEW Dark.
Oh.
And then I was on Impact Wrestling again.
Yeah.
The following week, and then AEW Dark Elevation.
So like Rick Rude did in '97 when he was on both shows at night, you were doing that.
Yes. And then most recently, I don't know if you ever heard of this little place, Beyond Wrestling in Massachusetts. They have a show every Thursday. And I'm usually, for instance, this past week I was in the main event of that show. And I was also on Impact Wrestling taking on Crazy Steve and Black Taurus. So I could be in 2 places at once, and it defies all logic and physics, but I have that ability, much like Rick Rude. But it's always a beard. It's never a weird mustache on one show and then a beard on the other. It's always the beard.
When my producer told me that you were the modern day Rick Rude, all the rest of my questions are about abs. Do you have abs?
I do. Should we show them off right now?
You don't have to show them off, but I wanted to talk because Rick Rude had great abs.
He does. You know what? I think these lights are honestly too bright to really get the full effect of my abs.
You've got darkroom abs.
I've got my abs really pop in dark rooms.
Okay, all right.
But I can probably make some shadows if you want to do this.
So you got Motel 6 abs. You don't have.
Should we take them out?
No, whatever you do with your abs is your problem. I don't. Oh, you're standing
Stay
up.
with me,
You're standing
camera.
up on my. Okay.
Stay with me.
Okay. All right.
Are
You do.
they okay?
You do have abs. Fuck, those are good abs.
Thanks, man.
I didn't expect those abs.
Can you just edit those in post so that they look even better?
What's he
Thank
gonna
you.
do in post?
I don't know. Add contrast. That's a thing you guys say, right?
I don't. These are idiots. I don't.
So they're nodding
you-
their heads.
have you
Wait,
ever
are they
seen
nodding
it-
their heads about being idiots or doing it in
Have
post?
you ever seen a wrestling show this terrible with 2 producers? Now, why do you think I have 2 producers?
Now, hold on a second. I've seen a lot of terrible wrestling shows. I've been wrestling for 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you have 2 producers at all is pretty shocking. There's some crappy indies out there.
I understand that. I understand that. But think of how stupid these guys got to be that I need 2 of them.
What's the one doing? Because I see this one standing by the camera.
Oh, he's swiping right. He's on Tinder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. So he's helping me with the other problem.
He's
earlier.
thrice divorced. Yeah,
Okay.
he's not had good luck in love. All right, I got more questions.
Okay, great.
Do you think this is going well?
I think so far. What do you think? You're the host. You've done these.
Pretty good.
Okay, great.
It's pretty good.
On a scale of like MJF.
You want to know what the scale is?
Sure.
The scale is MJF.
I see how tall he is. I like that.
No. This is the scale. This is how good he is. MJF, Adam Cole.
Okay.
Great shows, great interviews. Karrion Kross.
Okay. No comment.
I'm just talking.
I'm trying to work anyway.
It's all good. It's
Yeah,
all
yeah.
good. Not a big
Sean,
deal.
if you're listening.
Is that
Michaels?
oh, Sean. Yeah, Sean. Yeah.
NXT, guys, come
But
on.
I thought you were
listen. I'm very happy.
NXT 2.0. I don't know
I'm
if you
very
need to be a part of that.
I'm too old and too short. But
I don't think Braun Breaker's very tall.
I think he's taller than me.
I don't think you're that short, man. You need to believe in your height.
You know what? Thank you, man.
You need to believe in your height.
You know, I've never believed in my height before.
You should believe in your height.
Can we green screen like the height thing for when you rob the 7-Eleven and just have it around 6 feet
3?
for me? Sure.
6'1",
If I'm 6 foot, I'm gonna retweet this.
If we have you at 6 foot, you're gonna. Well,
I'm gonna retweet
I have
it
200,000
anyway. It's okay.
followers on Twitter.
Do you?
Yeah.
All right, you retweet it then, because I need that.
Modern day Rick Rude.
Yes.
We talked about that.
Yes, we did just now.
But in the ring,
In the ring, yes.
in between the four posts, when the shit gets going down,
Yes.
who do you most resemble there? That's a real question.
That is
That's
a real
not
question.
just a joke.
That is a real question. So I'm going to do my best to give you a real answer.
So you haven't been before him?
That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
I don't like Pizza Hut, though. I like to model my style after Shawn Michaels. I don't know if you've noticed by the way that I brought him up twice without anybody asking. I like him a lot. Shawn, if you're listening, paint splatter. I'm all for it. We can pretend I'm not 34. It's fine. It's fine. Anyway, Impact Wrestling, guys. Thursday nights. I'm just kidding.
Do you need Shawn Michaels' phone number?
Do you have it?
Yeah.
Write that down next to the answer to the knock-knock joke, because my mind's going to get blown twice today. But I think I like to model myself after Shawn Michaels. Does it always work? No, I don't know. But I do like to think I'm like this, tenacious, like kind of doesn't know the size of the fight in the dog. It's the size of the...
Johnny Gargano.
Sure, he's a guy.
You kind of look like him.
Do you think so? I think that we all get grouped in together.
Okay.
These white guys with abs and beards. Because that's not funny.
No, it's not. I just
I'm
thought
my own man.
No, but I just thought of a wonderful new dating site. White guys with abs and beards. I think chicks would dig it.
You're probably not wrong.
I mean, I'm an idea guy.
Okay.
So you can't say these things without, okay.
But you would have to, you ever, like the hair club for men, and I'm not saying that you need the hair club for men, but.
I have tremendous hair for my
No,
age.
absolutely,
Okay, all right.
absolutely. What I'm saying is those commercials where they say like, I'm not just a client, I'm also the owner.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to grow a beard. Can you grow a beard?
What are you making that face for? Yeah, I can grow a beard. I just had a beard. I just had a beard like a month ago. I shaved it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was thick. Oh,
And you
it
just
was-
shaved it
was-
a month ago, and this is the
I
result
look like
from shaving it a month ago.
Well, I have some. My face gets dry from time to time.
Sure,
I got some
no, we
rosacea.
all
It's
do,
fine.
we all
It's
do.
it's whatever. I look like Bray Wyatt.
The burnt one, the burnt fiend one. So the thing you were saying before about the beards and the white guys, it's funny you say Gargano because I get all the time Bobby Roode.
Ah, yes. I can see that.
Yeah.
Although he is bigger than you in stature.
He is, for sure.
You know what's a shame?
No.
That song, Glorious.
Yes.
They don't really use it anymore.
I gotta be honest with you.
You didn't like it?
I haven't watched WWE in like a year and a half, 2 years. I have no idea if they watch it or use it or not.
You like the song?
When that first song first came out, this is a fun sidebar story.
Oh, this will be fun.
I was actually at a bachelor party in Ocean City, Maryland.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
And other than everyone peeing in the water at Secrets, because, that's going to happen. And, you're going to pay too much money for beer. But our pre-gaming song, on repeat, was Glorious.
Oh, that is a good song to pregame too.
Yeah. And we were
Yeah.
so amped up to go watch these white trash girls pee down their leg into the ocean.
I have a question because I don't often ask this of, when I get wrestlers in here and they got their publicity people and all that, so I can't ask the real questions I want to
Do you
ask.
appreciate that my people are being so quiet right now?
They're being so quiet.
Okay.
So quiet.
Thank you, guys.
Is it? Okay, never mind. Is that a hooker?
No, I am married.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, okay. It's not a hooker. You're doing great. What was the question I was going to ask? Question. This is a question for wrestlers.
Okay.
Across the board.
Okay.
What do you do when you get in the ring and a guy that you're wrestling doesn't smell that good? How often does that happen? Do wrestlers take care of themselves?
Some do, some don't.
Have you ever gotten in a ring and you're wrestling a guy and you're like, oh, this is unpleasant?
Yes. Most of the time, though, I think there is this whole group, and it's the smelly, out of shape, not very aesthetically pleasing wrestlers. You're not a wrestler. You don't have to worry about this.
Fair enough.
Your smell is the least of my problem right now. What I'm saying is there's this group. It's all rolled into one, and usually the smell is part of that. And also they're very hurty. To quote another wrestler from another famous podcast, they're very hurty guys. And so the whole thing is unpleasant.
I don't even know who you were quoting and what podcast you were.
That'll be a joke just for me then, and I'll talk to you about it after.
Yeah. As I don't listen to wrestling podcasts.
I don't blame you.
I find them tedious and
Don't
boring.
blame you.
Yeah.
I did notice, now Conrad's not here today.
Turkey tits.
Sure. And now when does he come in? Because I feel like if he could just sell me some Blue Chew real quick, that would be a fun thing for my train ride home.
You looking to spice up the ride home, huh?
I'm thinking if I pop some before I leave, it's like an hour train ride home. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm just like, when is this going to happen? That excitement will make the train
It's like
ride
a race
fly.
against the clock.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or the cock. Anyway.
All right. That was good.
Yeah, no, I know how to turn a phrase. I'm very talented.
Great.
The Figure Wrestling Federation?
Yes.
What's going on with that? This Cardona fella.
Yes. Crazy guy.
Yeah, I like him.
I like him a lot too. Very hard worker. He knows what he's doing.
I was just out of Vegas at the wedding.
You were at the wedding?
Yeah.
Why wasn't I at the wedding then?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
I'm confused. Okay, let me. I am the FWF heavyweight champion, the Figure Wrestling Federation heavyweight champion. Now I know what you're thinking. I'm not a heavyweight. Let me stop you there. We're all inclusive in 2022. I know what you're thinking now. Let me stop you again. I'm not a wrestling figure.
So how does this work?
Great question. Are you turning your back to the idea, or are you so interested that you're giving me your good ear?
I'm pensive. I'm in thought.
Okay.
I'm in thought.
Okay.
You said something so intriguing
Yes.
that I have to take away all distraction and listen to it. So if you don't mind.
Okay, no, look at that. So FWF. It's basically Brian Myers and Matt Cardona's crazy imagination of if they could play with their wrestling figures come to life. For example, let me cut you off before you cut me off. The tag team champions of the FWF are the Headbangers.
But that's not.
No.
Mosh and Thrasher?
In real life, they are the tag team champions. You know who the interstate champion is?
The Head Shrinkers.
Heath Slater.
He's got kids.
He's got wrestling figures, and if you've got wrestling figures, they've probably played with you, don't get weird, in some sort of way, and now you're their champion. Again, I don't have a figure.
Oh, I see. Well, how are you the champion if you don't have a figure?
I don't know. This is the logic that I don't quite understand, but I should have brought
But
it
it
back.
comes from Cardona and Brian Myers' imagination.
Yes.
Which leads to this question.
Yes.
Are they on drugs?
No. They're actually two pretty straight-edge guys.
Disappointing.
I know. They like their White Claws, though. White Claws.
Oh, Claws. White Claws. That's a drink.
Yes.
They don't sponsor the show. You know who does sponsor the show? Nobody.
Oh, okay.
Nobody.
I was excited. I thought maybe like a graphic was going to pop up behind us.
Nobody. They actually don't even know we're in here doing this.
Does anybody?
Hey, you saw the interview with MJF. You thought it was good.
That's true.
Good,
It was
right?
in this room?
No, we actually did it in another room.
It was a nicer room.
No, it was a worse room.
There was a table.
That room gets real hot, and
Okay.
I told him I don't want to do it in podcast one anymore. I want the green screen, so we
listen.
can do anything with this.
First we
what
can-
do you want to be on the screen right now? It could be anything. A unicorn? What do you want?
No. I'll send you guys a nice 8x10 VSK that we can put in the background. That's just popping their abs the whole time, right behind us. And then, but actually, you know what? That won't work because then that makes the whole conversation about do I have abs or not?
No,
It's moot because it's right
Well,
here.
we can put it up after that.
Sure. Okay. So then how do we start this?
What's the best area of the country for indie wrestling?
I think the Northeast, and it's not just because we're here.
Yeah.
But it's also...
Well, per capita, it feels like there's more indie wrestling up here than anywhere else.
I was just going to say, that's the problem. Because there is so much, there's so much bad.
Yeah.
There's so much bad. But you can weed out all that stuff and keep yourself busy with good stuff around here.
But how does a guy in 2022, not you, because you're right there, you're doing Impact, you're doing AEW, but let's say 22-year-old you were starting this year.
Ooh, okay.
How does 22-year-old VSK get started in the indies now? Is it harder or easier or what?
I think it's easier because nowadays you can just go on Twitter and tweet that you are now accepting bookings for 2022. And basically they just fall in your lap.
You think that would work for me?
Do you want to get wrestling bookings?
No.
So then it won't work for you because you'll get them. And
No,
you don't want that.
But I want to just be a guy.
You are.
I want to just stand on the outside of the ring and yell
like a manager.
I want to be a manager. Can I get manager bookings?
Probably. Dude, half the wrestlers are on the shows that I do are untrained. We can have an untrained manager. It's fine.
I'm not untrained. I've been watching wrestling for, how old do you think I am?
Let me tell you though, this conversation that we're having, I've also had with wrestlers. I'm not untrained. I've been watching wrestling. It's fine. Listen, here's a good point where I should plug Creative Pro Wrestling, great wrestling school in the Northeast.
I was getting there. That's Brian Myers'
It is,
place
but I'm also, speaking of Brian Myers, going to plug the Learning Tree, where I am a member, and some say the star pupil.
Star pupil. Mm-hmm. What is the Learning Tree?
Thanks for watching the product. It is the faction that Brian Myers is the leader of, and it involves myself and Zicky Dice. Maybe you know Zicky Dice.
Of course I do. Yeah,
He's big on
love
Twitch.
Zicky. Yeah, big Zicky guy. Okay. I'm very busy. I have many shows. That guy over there, his actual reason for being here is to tell me things like the Figure Pro Wrestling and the
Figure Pro Wrestling.
and then
You've
the-
already
and-
forgotten. It's written down.
and then the Learning Tree. He didn't put the Learning Tree in the notes.
Unbelievable.
If you just give me just a second.
Sure.
I'm not going to get angry or anything. I just want to talk to him real quick.
Sure.
You didn't put the fucking Learning Tree in the fucking notes! What the fuck is going on around here?
Ooh, the knock-knock joke. You can't let anyone see that answer. Okay.
Stupid motherfucker!
I appreciate your professionalism and how you kept your cool.
Yeah, it's not, you understand.
Yeah.
You got a lot of people under you. Your hooker over there, and she hadn't said a word.
Listen, that's mean.
Sorry, Candy, you can speak whenever you want.
You got that name right. But you couldn't get Figure Wrestling Federation.
What did I say?
I don't even know.
Did I say Figure Pro?
Yeah, come on.
It says figure. I said the wrong thing. It does say
Okay.
Figure Wrestling.
Okay, you're right,
You
that's
have a
right.
cut on your head. Is
I
that
do.
from a match?
Yes.
What happened?
This past Thursday, I got thrown out of the ring, and I hit my head on the steel ring steps.
So you're not a very good wrestler?
It's not that. Do you actually want to hear the story? Or do you want to just cut it off and then make jokes?
50-50.
Okay. Jump in whenever you want. I got thrown out of the ring at Beyond Wrestling, and at Beyond Wrestling, the fans are right up against the apron, like pounding on the mat.
Yeah.
And as I was getting thrown out, I said, oh, I'm going to bowl over some people like bowling pins. Let me hold on to this bottom rope so I can stay close to the ring as I'm leaving. And as I went down, corner of the ring step, right in my face. Just laying on the floor bleeding.
That sucks.
It does.
They're right up there.
Right up against it.
Is that safe?
In this instance,
Yeah.
no.
Okay. But normally, yes.
No, when I walk up the ring, it's safe because I don't want to like really stretch onto the apron or it'd be weird.
Now, how are we doing on time? I wanted to do about 3 minutes with this guy.
Oh boy.
Past. Okay. Can I make an observation about your hands?
Sure.
They don't match.
Okay.
They don't match. And let me tell you why. No, show them the ends. This is a hard-working man's hand. This is tough. This is, oh my God, what is this guy doing with this? And then this, look, he manicured nails. This looks like a child's hand. What? They don't match. The inside and the outside of your hands do not match.
Are you calling me a small child?
I'm not calling you a small child.
I don't know if I've made it clear. I have an issue with the whole size thing, and I didn't want to make you lower your chair because we were starting off on like an even level. But here we are now, where the fucking star is up here, and you're talking about child hands. These are hardworking hands.
You're right.
But I also have to be on silly podcast shows like this, where I know I'm going to have a face that's going to be on camera and hands that are going to be on camera, so I want to look good. I appreciate that you shaved a month ago, so you can look good for this interview today, but I have to do a little more upkeep. So I got to keep everything intact.
Are you going to hit me?
I'm not going to hit you. I don't have an anger issue like Max does.
He's never hit me. He wouldn't hit me.
On camera.
Me and him are probably best of friends.
Call him right now.
I do have his number.
Do you?
I do have his number.
All right, maybe that's a segment for the next time.
I have his number.
I believe
you.
you.
Don't think I have Max?
I believe you.
I got MJF's phone number.
Yeah. I've been telling my niece all month that I have Santa's phone number. I'll show you too.
I don't know.
Your phone's not even on. What are you looking at right now?
My kid got thrown out of school for firing a bow and arrow at a crowd again.
Where does he go to school?
What are we doing?
I don't know.
Watch. MJF.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, boy.
I can't wait to tell him that you have that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Oh, man, he's going to be pissed.
You know what? I got Triple H's phone number.
Do you? You mean AAA, the car service?
Yeah. That's
Okay.
exactly what I mean.
Okay.
So,
Yes.
this is the Indy Spotlight.
Okay.
This is to talk about the future of wrestling. And you're right there. Your Impact. You've been the last 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
You taking over Impact Wrestling this year?
I'd like to think so. I think I could be X Division champion in 2022. Maybe tag team champion. Maybe Brian and I do a little run.
What if Brian's busy?
What? Go ahead. No, finish. Are you okay?
No, I'm having a stroke. If Brian's busy,
Yes.
and you need somebody, some
That's
muscle,
as far as we've gotten so
some
far.
muscle, I can do it.
Now, hold on a second. What you just said is very contradictory. If Brian's busy,
Yeah.
you can do it, and you are muscle.
We're gonna need to hope Brian's not busy. We're gonna need to hope.
Me, yes.
We're gonna need to hope
None
Brian's
of this
schedule.
affects you. I promise you that. Whether he's busy or not,
I feel like you look down on me a little bit.
well, you did lower your chair, and I do appreciate that.
Do you think this went well?
I think so. Was that 3 minutes already?
Oh wait, 3.
Damn.
He's giving us the 3-minute warning.
Oh,
Yeah. Remember how good they were? I like them.
they were very good.
Yeah.
Wasn't Eric Bischoff just on Raw? I think someone tweeted that.
He was.
Did he bring out 3? No, we can't.
He didn't. But remember when they did the fake wedding angle and he did unmask and said, "You got 3 minutes."
Yeah, it was very good.
Yeah.
Good prosthetics. I can't wait for when this is over and you take off your prosthetics and show me what you actually look like. Because there's no way that this, if it is, I'm sorry, but there is no way.
Last question.
Oh, okay.
Who's the greatest wrestler of all time? And why is it Shawn Michaels?
Well,
We agree with
I'm
it.
glad you asked.
My GOAT is Shawn Michaels.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Can I ask you some questions?
Please.
Let me take out my book. What's your favorite Shawn Michaels match? And you did mention earlier that you are an elderly gentleman. I think that's how you put it.
Yeah. I actually like a couple that are under the radar. First of all, I love the Mankind match at Mind Games.
Okay.
I don't love the Iron Man match that much.
Really?
Yeah, I don't love the
Really?
Iron Man match. I love Taker at 25, but he's got a match with Jarrett at an In Your House
Yeah.
in Nashville that was unbelievable, and
Yes.
that's my favorite one.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's like, I don't think a lot of people would say that, but that's my favorite one.
That's a very
I also
good one.
love him against Shelton on Raw. Anytime you can
yeah.
have a great match in 7 minutes.
That's unbelievable match.
What's your favorite Shawn Michaels match?
So mine is WrestleMania 25, which
Yeah.
obviously is like the easy go-to answer. But I also think that ruined wrestling for me because I look at that as like the best match
Can't get better.
and it can't get better. So we're all just wasting our time now.
So, but here's the thing. If you ask me my favorite tag match of all time, that also includes Shawn Michaels.
Is it? Because mine is Shawn Michaels and Diesel against 1, 2, 3 Kid and Razor Ramon from Superstars taping on Monday Night Raw, whatever it is.
It's not.
Okay.
Because I didn't have cable TV back then.
It's on the network. It's on Peacock. Is that what they call it?
I can't afford that.
I'm using someone else's code. Friends in high places.
Are you really?
Yeah.
My favorite tag match of all time is the Brainbusters,
Ah.
Tully and Arn against the Rockers. It's like an MSG show. It wasn't on a big show, and it's on Shawn Michaels' first DVD, and I love it so much.
There's a lot to choose from.
Arn and Tully are my favorite tag team.
Really?
Do you remember Arn and Tully? You're not old enough.
So, I mean, I'm old enough, but I don't remember seeing them as kids. Or as kids.
How would you see them as kids?
I'm just one. I mean, I've gone back now and watched. Yeah, I don't remember it as a child.
I think this Indy Corner, we were supposed to go 15 minutes.
Okay, how do we do?
I think we're at least 25.
Okay. Do you want to make it from now on that it is longer than 15, or do you think no one else is going to be able to live up to this initial debut episode. So we better say from now on, it's only 15 minutes. Exception to the rule, VSK did really well. He was, fucking talking in circles. He had me going. He had me thinking. Maybe he's the only one who gets a long episode.
No. What I think is when we do this episode for real, me and you, when you do the interview for real, when we turn the camera on, we should make sure we keep it down to 15 minutes because this has just been a practice.
I think we started this interview with me pointing
Talk
out to you about the red light, and that
light.
has been on the whole time.
Who is your favorite reindeer?
My mom's name is Donna. Is it Donna?
It's Donna. So she's not a reindeer.
No, she's not. But because in tribute to my mom.
It does sound like
It's
an old
Donna.
person saying, Donna, get in the house.
It sounds like my dad who puts an R at the end of everything.
Really?
Yeah, I don't understand it. He's not going to watch this. It's fine. I can say that. Tell me the joke, though. You can say it now. Tell him the knock-knock joke.
This is VSK, and that is Indy Corner. We call it Indy Corner? We don't know what we're calling it yet, do we?
Yeah, we don't know.
Okay.
I hope this makes the cut, where we talk about that we don't know what the name is. Should we pitch some ideas right now, the name, or it's too late?
Would you? Because all I have are these idiots.
Okay.
What did we come up with? We came up with Indy Corner. Indy Push. I didn't like Indy Push. That sounds like you're having a baby.
Indy Push.
The next wave,
You can't say new wave though, because I'm wrestling 15 years, so there's nothing new about me.
But there's nothing new, but
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but if you pop off on Impact this year and blow up,
I guess, yeah.
The push. See, that sounds like a birthing podcast.
It does, which I will listen to. My wife is 6 months pregnant right now.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, so I hope that $500 comes soon for that match that I can do for you.
No, we don't have the ring yet.
I know, but next time when we're on the push.
See, that doesn't even sound good, does it?
What if it's a pregnancy professional wrestling podcast?
I only interview pregnant professional wrestlers.
Yes.
That sounds
Guys,
fun.
this has been
fun.
The Push.
Sure. All right, there go my notes. Now it's up to you. It's what you got. It's what you want to talk about. It's what you're going to bring to the table. When we started wrestling last year, voicemails quickly became one of the favorite parts of the podcast. God, I don't know why, because most of you are awful. But some of you aren't. And the ones of you that aren't can call this number. It is, what is it? That's exactly what the number is. Put it on. Well, right here. Here's the number right here. That's the voicemail number. If you want to call and make your feelings heard, you call that number right there. That's our voicemail. This week, how many we got? We got 3? It's our first week back. So we usually like to do between 5 and 7. We're going to do 3 this week. So, Aria, voicemail number 1.
What the fuck? Hold on.
I feel like I don't know. Maybe the Young Bucks when they're standing there and that idiot Brandon Cutler can't do anything right. I feel like Vince when the Stooges are trying to do something and they just keep fucking it up. All I want in life is for a producer who can press a button and I can hear the voicemails. But I said, Aria, play the voicemails, and what do I hear?
Brandon fucking Walker. Pat from Winnipeg. Happy to call in again. Glad you're back. Was hoping you'd be back. You're back. So I got a two-part question for you. I've been waiting to ask you this. Number 1, my favorite thing of the year in wrestling was your interactions with MJF. I think that interview, I watched it 2-3 times. I couldn't stop laughing. I just want to know if you could break the fourth wall. What's the lead up like in an interview with MJF? Do you guys bounce ideas off each other, or is it just, okay, camera's there, start it, let's see where it goes? I've always just wondered that. I think you guys got great chemistry, and I'm just curious of what your thought process behind those interviews were like. Second question, I'm a huge CM Punk fan. I think a lot of people are. Up until now, I want the Brandon Walker grade. What grade, A to F, would you give CM Punk in his return to wrestling so far? Happy you're back. Can't wait to call in more. See you later.
Okay. Two great questions. Number one, you asked about MJF. And yeah, I think the highlight, I mean, there's no secret. The MJF interviews last year that we did are the biggest things we've ever done on the podcast. The first one got about 60,000 views, and it did fine, did really good, but it didn't jump off the page. But the second time we got together, he came in here, and I will always be thankful for guys that make the effort to come in here. Max came in here, and we sat down, we turned the camera on, and we did the interview, and it was great. I mean, the guy has the best wrestling character of the last 20 years. The guy is elite. The guy's going to be a mega star. There's no doubt about that. But you're asking, what's it like, the lead up? The truth is, and this is the honest to God truth, and my producer can say yes or no if I'm lying. The truth is, Max walks into this building. We go into the podcast studio. I sit in my seat. He sits in his seat. I look at the producer and say, "Are you ready?" Producer says yes. And he says, "Go." And then we go. We don't plan anything. We don't talk about it. He doesn't know what I'm going to ask. I don't know what he's going to do. We just go. There is none of that. It's just, we sit down. And I always have notes. I always write out questions that I'm going to read, but I don't prepare them at all. I don't tell them what's going to happen. So everything I've ever done with MJF on camera has just been right off the cuff. And he's elite at it. And listen, I got other guys, like the CM Punk interview did 210,000. Bryan Danielson did 110. Adam Cole was up to 175. So I got other great interviews, but there's just something about, interviewing him. It's just easy. The second question is letter grade for CM Punk's tenure in AEW. I give it a solid B right now. Like Bryan Danielson, I would give it an A. Adam Cole and CM Punk, I'd give Cole like a B minus right now because he hasn't really been put in that spot yet. CM Punk has been, and to me, they just haven't. His in-ring stuff, he hasn't had to have a match where I don't think he's had a match where the wrestler he's wrestling matches up star power wise with CM Punk, and I think that'll happen when he wrestles MJF. The match with Darby Allin was very good. The match with Eddie Kingston was very good. But ultimately, I don't think he's had the breakthrough match that Bryan Danielson has had with Hangman Page and with Kenny Omega. But when this war of words is over and MJF and CM Punk get in there and lock it up for real, I think that's when CM Punk, his run goes from a B to an A. That's my thought process. Aria, voicemail number 2.
Brandon fucking Walker.
Yeah.
Welcome back, 2022. Let's go.
Yep.
Well, after the recent pay-per-view, we all know that looks like we might be headed towards Lashley Lesnar. Finally, Battle of the fucking Titans out here. What are we talking about? As they build a feud, is Lesnar going to speak for himself, or is MVP going to rip this guy a new country asshole? Thanks, guys. We'll talk.
Well, I mean, storyline-wise, what's stopping Heyman from coming over and realigning with Brock now that he was fired by Roman Reigns? I don't know that wasn't going to happen Saturday night when they were going to wrestle, right? So I don't know what stops Heyman from eventually getting back with Brock Lesnar. But yeah, I think the thing is, when you talk about talking for them, in a feud like that, you can get by with one guy being elite on the mic. You can get by with one. How many times did Lesnar do it with Heyman? Like Lesnar's there tough, and Heyman sold matches against Roman, against Rollins, against Dean Ambrose, against everybody at the time, and it was mostly built on the back of Heyman being able to talk. Well, MVP, while not Paul Heyman, is fucking elite on the mic. You get a guy like MVP, and he's carrying the voice of the entire feud, that'll be fine. And Lashley against Lesnar is going to be fan-fucking-tastic. I can't wait. Aria, voicemail number 3.
Hey, Brandon. Welcome back. I'm glad to have the show back. I'm sure there's been a ton of moments that made you want to connect with the Rasslin audience during your hiatus. So I wanted to ask you, what was the number one moment during the break that you wish you had voicemails for? And why was it our fearless leader, Kalisto's glorious return to pro wrestling on AEW Dynamite? You know what, though? I found it very, very suspect that you claim to be in harmony with Lucha Nation, yet on November 3rd, we didn't get an emergency pod to discuss Kalisto's AEW debut. We waited 215 days while Kalisto plotted his grand return, and you couldn't have cared less. So, Brandon, welcome back. Welcome back not to Rasslin, but welcome back to Lucha Nation's shit list. You are Lucha Nation's enemy number 1, from now until forever. Lucha, lucha, lucha.
I hate it here. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Rasslin.